You're listening to Dave Sutherland on the Super Radio Network.
La 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 la. Yes, welcome back. Well, as I said just before the ad break then, a fellow that I'm going to talk to in a moment, he's a comedian, yeah, he's a singer, he's appeared on the Midday Show with Ray Martin, and he's been on Hey Hey It's Saturday, created some characters, one of them particularly he's pretty famous for apparently, Carlos Hoppentopoulos. Already it's sounding good. And he also wrote a song about Princess Diana following her death, and I'm speaking of Anthony Lee. Good day, Anthony.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Very well indeed. How are you?
Yeah, really great.
Now, you get around a fair bit. You go right up the coast of New South Wales and all over the place, don't you?
Yeah, I go. I'm getting up the coast further and further. I recently did some shows up in Taree at a little restaurant called the Bean Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Great fun, yeah.
Right. Now, as I said, you've been on the Midday Show. That was back in the days when Ray Martin did it. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
And what were you performing? Your comedian act?
No, I was performing an act with a large lady called Demama.
Right.
We had a little comedy duo called Tony Lean and Demama.
All right.
There's a song called You're Too Fat for Me, and halfway through the act, she sort of beat me up across the piano.
Oh, right. Okay, so it was a bit of comic relief sort of thing and all that.
Yeah,
sort
it was.
of stuff,
It was loads of fun. We did a few shows as that.
Right. Okay. And what did you do on Hey Hey It's Saturday?
I created a character called Doug Kembry.
Right.
And he's the little Aussie battler.
Right.
I did the speech impediment song.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah. You can get it on YouTube.
Yeah. So you create all these... Where do you get all these inspirations for these characters and that?
I don't know. They're all in there. I feel like a bit of a psycho. I wander around the house to myself, and I'm pretending to be someone, and I'm sure people like looking at me sometimes when I'm around the backyard, sort of talking to myself and so forth. Must think I'm a bit of a loopy.
Now, I had a look at your website, and you've got some pretty far-out costumes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Carlos Hoppentopoulos. How did he come about?
Well, years ago I was doing a piano bar, a Christmas party in Beaumont Street, Hamilton, and I met this bloke who was trying to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
His name was Dave, and his restaurant was going to be called the Wog Rock Cafe.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he was having trouble with the council getting the name passed.
Yeah.
And all he had was like an empty shell. He said, look, he said to me, I want you to be my piano man. And I said, well, look, I want to do something more than just be a piano man. I want to create characters, because I did these characters up in Queensland before I came back to Newcastle again.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so Dave just said to me, look, I'll give you what you want. Just do whatever you want as long as we get bums on seats. And so consequently, I started doing Carlos there, and it was great. It just evolved. You know, we got the lights, and we got the smoke machines, and the hideous costumes from the 70s, and I got them all designed myself. The uglier, the better. All that hideous, cliche 70s style stuff. And but Carlos has started to evolve into more of a cooler character,
right.
But still very up himself.
Right. Okay, and you also wrote a song about Princess Diana following her death.
Yes, I did.
And that was released on CD, I believe.
Yes, it was. Actually, I was asked by a friend who worked at a radio station. He said, look, the day that Princess Diana died, in fact, we were going to film some Carlos footage at MBN on the morning show, and we were sort of filming some footage, and then Princess Diana died, and a friend of mine from the radio station said, look, you should have a go at writing a tribute song to her, because she's such a lovely lady. And I thought, well, yes, she is. I'd never thought of it, and my wife was a huge fan, so I sort of started writing the song that particular afternoon.
Wow! And
I finished it the next morning, and they played it nationally across the ABC network.
So you wrote it like within that short period of time. It obviously just came to you, the words and all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everyone was just so overcome with grief that particular day.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a shock.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I thought, well, you know, probably nothing will come. And all of a sudden, you know, as any creative person can tell you, it's just, you can't sit down and hope to be inspired. It kind of just comes, and it's like a sequence of events or something that might trigger something.
Yeah. Now, I didn't know this, but back in the 90s, you supported Glenn Shorrock, Brian Cadd and Richard Clapton.
Yeah, I did.
On their tours.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
What was that like? That would have been good.
Yeah, that was loads of fun. Yeah. And I even did another show with Brian Cadd a little while later, and that was great too.
So is this what you do full time? Is it like obviously you like a full time entertainer now?
Well, I do lots of things. I sort of I'm also a casual school teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a primary school teacher.
Goodness me.
So I do that.
Yeah.
And I also write songs for film and television.
Wow.
So I write stuff and I send it off to the big film libraries in the States.
Yeah.
And they'll use it somewhere, and you start banking up the royalties and everything. And I send songs off to other artists.
Yeah.
And I also what else do? I do lots of different things. I do my Carlos shows, of course, and then I also play piano bar in clubs.
Yeah, right.
I get around the clubs doing piano bar and
You're
stuff.
certainly a busy fella then, aren't you?
Yeah, I get pretty busy.
So is that like you've got the serious side of you and then you've got the nutty side of you, I guess?
Well, they kind of come together.
Yeah.
People used to say when they first met me, beware of the really quiet types, because underneath they're like a nut ready to escape. And that's what I'm like, I guess, in a lot of ways. I come across probably very reserved.
Yeah.
But,
you're quite out there once you get going.
Yeah, well, you morph into Carlos and you become Carlos, you know what I mean? And sort of when the show's finished and that costume's off me, I'm just back to being boring old me.
Well, you sounded interesting. That's why I couldn't wait to talk to you and have you on the show and all that sort of stuff. So I appreciate your time. And you're doing some shows now, are you?
I'm doing some Carlos shows, and also what I do is I also perform some of my original songs from over the years as well. Like some comedy stuff from Hey Hey and the Princess Diana track. And then I do like the Carlos Hop on Top of the Show, which is like a real quirky stand-up comedy show. It's a mixture of like getting all the English wrong, and being very stuck up but making a fool of yourself at the same time.
Right. So what's your website if people want to have a look?
Yeah, well, I'm actually getting my website rebuilt at the moment, but they can get into www.anthonylee.biz.
.biz.
Or .com. They can sort of see me there as well.
So it's Anthony Lee, all one word, ANTHONYLEE.
Yep.
Okay, so all the W is anthonylee.com.au.
Yeah, or .biz.
Fantastic. All right, well, I'm sure we'll have a look. But no, as I said, you sounded like a very interesting fella. That's why I couldn't wait to actually talk to you and everything like that and just find out a little bit about you. And you've also got a band called the Anthony Lee and the Plastic Palm Quartet.
That's my latest...
Where do you come up with these names?
Well, I don't know. I just love the name of that because it just sounds so wrong.
It's almost like the Plastic Ono Band.
I don't know. I just liked it. And see, for years I've been doing like these crazy little 1920s style ditties.
Yeah.
And people have been asking me for them, and and I never recorded them because I always thought they're just like sort of silly little things. But anyway, I started recording them, and so the first single is "Dog Poop on My Shoe."
That's interesting.
Yeah, which is, how can you get a song out of that?
Yeah.
Website and check it out.
Yeah, all right. So it's anthonylee.com.au.
It is.
Beautiful. All right, well, I've got one of your songs here, so I'm going to whack it on, and thanks again for your time, Anthony.
Hey, Dave, it's been a real pleasure. And I'll tell you what, though, I mean, if I'm looking for little venues around Australia where I can do my show.
Well, I'm sure if people go to your website, they can let you know, because they could obviously contact you that way, couldn't they?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, of course they can.
Terrific. Well, thanks again for your time, Anthony.
Hey, brilliant. Thanks.
No worries. Good on you. Cheers.
Bye.
You got the hot potato, you're the right tomato, baby, you've got the bug. You're feeling kind of gooey, a little ooey-ooey, baby, you've got the bug.